Hi and welcome to the call. It's wonderful to have you here and to have this opportunity to connect with you and share the power and the benefits of the Awakening program and its ability to cause you to awaken to your perfect potential. And as we begin this time of sharing, let us first set a conscious intention now to receive the information that is needed, that will best allow you to step into the energies of your pure and perfect potential in the world. Let us now call in the element of profound love. Profound love is who we truly are. Profound love heals all misperceptions of unlovability, unworthiness. Let us feel into that energy now. Let us allow this energy to permeate our form now and our body, mind, personality cells now. And as it does so, feel into this energy as it moves through your body, moves through your form, and highlight to you wherever you believe you are not worthy of awakening to your perfect potential. Let us further enhance the energy of this call by calling in the 4 elements of radical forgiveness, radical awareness, conscious intention, and undefendedness that imbue each and every stage of the Awakening program. And as these energies permeate the being, the form that you are, feel the lightness and the rightness of the balance they bring. And it is not necessary for you to understand exactly what each element represents right now, for all shall become clear, and their role within the program shall become clear. Just allow the healing, soothing properties of these elements to imbue you now, opening you up, relaxing you, soothing you, nurturing you now. And as they permeate you, knowing that each element has a purpose and a property of its own, a unique energetic blueprint, begin to understand what it is you are being called to awaken to within you. Begin to allow insights to arise in you where your perfect potential is being blocked. Why and how? It may be an image. It may be a word. It may be a thought. It may be an associated memory. Know that it is significant, but you do not have to figure it out. Just allow the elements themselves to show you why you have been given this information. Let it become clear, naturally, without your efforting. And as this insight begins to flow through you, let me now begin to share a little bit more about how the Awakening Program not only can help you, but how it came about, and why it has the power to truly awaken you to your perfect potential. Knowing all the while that as these words are spoken, the insights continue to flow within you. And the structure shall be that I will give a little bit of information about how the program came about, a little bit more about each individual session, and there will be also a couple of meditative processes, very short, that will give you a flavor, a taste of what you can expect on the program. At the end, there will be insights into the costs of actually taking the program, and payments and the payment process in ways that allow you to know whether it's right for you, whether it's perfect for you at this time, and for you to make a conscious decision, a conscious choice of, yes, this is what I am being called to right now. Feel the energy of peace descending here. And listen from that space. So why the Awakening Program? The Awakening Program came to me because I sincerely asked for a way to help heal myself and others of our misperceptions about who we really are. I asked for a way to assist myself and others to break free of the deeply embedded stories and conditionings and patterns that held me hostage in my life and that held others hostage in theirs. I have always been someone who has been interested in the journey into the inner self, who we really are, why we're really here, what we're really here to experience, what we're here to grow into, what we're here to share with the world. And I came from a space, a background where I had very little self-love, very little self-appreciation. The exact opposite, in fact. Self-loathing would not be too strong a word. And even though my childhood experience was a difficult one, there was always this sense somewhere deep inside that I came in fully loaded with this energy of self-abandonment and self-loathing. There was somewhere deep inside a knowing that I chose the family and the familial experience that would allow me to explore what it is to abandon oneself, what it is to reject oneself, what it is to constantly berate oneself, what it is to always feel different, other, incomplete, not quite good enough, not quite understanding the game of life and how to play it, not quite understanding the roles of families, the role of society, the role of community, and where I was placed within it. Why were there so many rules? Why were there so many accepted norms? Why were there so many delineations in cultures and races and ages and sexuality and gender and height and weight and size and build and shape and status and class and caste and religion? Why were there so many delineations to explain away the truth of our connectivity, the truth of our connectedness, the truth of our sameness, Why was it okay in one country, one society, one community, one peer group, one family, one system for certain behaviors, certain actions, certain beliefs to be perfectly appropriate and in another to be completely inappropriate? Where were these lines drawn? How were they drawn? And how did they stop us from moving into our pure potential? How did they stop us from stepping into our power? How did they stop us from stepping into our greatness? Now know that for me, it wasn't so magnanimous at the beginning. For me, it was my own personal journey. And these questions arose in me very much as energies of frustration, fear, anger, rage, differentness. Even within the family dynamic, I felt that I didn't understand the rules. I didn't understand why certain behaviors and certain thoughts and certain actions went unspoken, where emotional dishonesty and psychological leanings that weren't helpful, weren't healthy, were allowed or explained away or justified when they caused deep pain. I wanted to know why this was okay. I wanted to know why I was so sensitive to that. I wanted to know why people told me I was too deep, thought too much, went to too many dark places that the mind was not meant to go, asked too many challenging questions that nobody really wanted the answer to. And so I grew up feeling very, very alone, even within the family dynamic. There was love. There was amazing energies. There were powerful personages within my family, strong personalities, highly creative beings, very individual and unique souls, each playing out their role, but not aware they were playing roles, each suffering their own internal dysfunction, but not questioning those internal dysfunctions until much, much later in life, where I was questioning them from a very, very young age. And I went through my early years feeling very different, as I said, entering my teenage years, just not knowing what I was here to do, not knowing what I was here to be, not knowing what I was here to feel, not knowing how to handle these deep moments of darkness and introspection that would arise within me, not knowing why they came. I would spend a lot of time on my own, prone to looking inwards, but not knowing what I was looking for. Something was calling me. Something wanted me to awaken to something much deeper, much truer, much clearer, but I couldn't hear. I wasn't ready. I had to explore many, many different paths before I was able to hear this call, this inner call. So the paths I explored were the typical paths for many. I explored my own sexuality. I explored myself through relationship to others, through sexual connections. I explored myself through politics and understanding race dynamics, sexism, ageism, sizeism, classism. I joined many different groups and societies. I became aware that there was parts of me that didn't fit into the heterosexual norm, nor did it fit into the LGBT scene, though it wasn't given such a sharp, quick name back then. I wasn't part of any scene, but I was not one thing or another. I needed to explore these things. I needed to know where I fit. what I realized now is I was seeking myself, my true self, my true nature. And the way I could do that was through exploring all of these different energies. I used the medium of creative expression. I started to write poetry. I started to write songs. I started to perform. I went into further education. And I did all the things many people do when they're exploring life. But I couldn't shake these feelings of not knowing who I was, not knowing why I was here, not knowing where I fit, not knowing why I felt so insecure, when outwardly I was so confident, so powerful, so aggressive, so articulate. Inwardly I was mush. Inwardly I was constantly seeking approval, constantly seeking someone to tell me I was okay. The spiritual path began to call, and it called through the New Age movement. It called through divination techniques. You know, the typical astrology, numerology, Reiki, channeling, and many of the other teachings and teachers of the time that were popular at the time. And I enjoyed these explorations. I learnt a lot. I grew a lot. I saw a lot. It healed a lot. And yet still there was still something saying, there's more. Go deeper. There's more. Go deeper. And so because I didn't fit anywhere, and because I was deeply exploring life, everything I tried, I never quite seemed to find my way. You know, starting jobs and not fitting. Feeling really, really sensitive to the energies of whatever company I joined, really sensitive to the fellow employees, really sensitive to the line managers and the supervisors, really sensitive to the company ethos. Really feeling into all these different stories that were playing out every single day in these environments. People putting their heads down and doing what they ought to do and what they should do and what they were told to do in order to make a buck, pay the rent, get a mortgage, raise children, wear nice things, buy nice things, do these things. And within me I was like, but for what are we doing this? How are we feeling about ourselves when we're doing this? Why are we constantly being petty with one another, digging at each other, psychically harming each other and wounding each other and pretending this isn't the case? All these questions were arising in me. And so I'd also found myself reaching certain plateaus of success and then sabotaging, making breakthroughs and then sabotaging, seeing through things and then being caught up in the story of the same thing I saw through only days, weeks, months earlier, getting more and more frustrated and going into periods of deep, dark depression. Deep, deep, deep depression. For days and weeks at a time. Exploring counseling, exploring therapy. And there was benefit in that, there was peace in that. But I always felt, even during the therapy sessions, the questions that were being explored, the themes that were being looked at, of what was done to me as a child, how I was harmed as a child, the terrible things that my parents did, and why they did them, weren't big enough questions. They weren't answering deeply enough this longing within me. Nothing was saying there's more. So even though I found an outlet and a way to vent, a way to heal surface wounds and feel much more in balance in some ways, in other ways it plunged me into even more confusion, even more frustration, because something deeper had to have its say. And it culminated in my mid-20s with me going into periods of suicidal depression. And coming out of those, and each time I came out of these periods, there'll be some deeper insight, some deeper knowing. I couldn't see this progression because I was devastated by those periods of depression. And that's all I could think of, and the havoc it was wreaking in my life, the debts it was creating, the jobs I was constantly starting and leaving, the opportunities I wasn't making the most of, the parenting that I wasn't doing to the level of care that I wanted to bring to my parenting role, to my children's lives. They were suffering as a result of my journey, my angst, my anguish. It felt deeply painful, really hurtful. And my children bore a lot of the brunt of my confusion because, of course, they shared the journey with me through my 20s and 30s. As I grew, as I deepened, as I developed. But even within all of that pain, all of that frustration, there was something truly profound arising in me. Energies were arising in me. I look back now and see I was being awakened step by step. I'd have the strangest experiences. I'd be sitting next to people and feeling these enormous, pulsing, vast energies permeating the space of somebody's living room, sitting on the sofa chatting with them, and feeling this vast energy rising up from beneath and around us. And I'd be looking at these people, and I think they perceived it coming from me as sexual energy, or some kind of come on, or and I'd be like, can you not feel this energy? Am I the only one feeling this energy? And it appeared that it was only me. I look back now and I see it was an awakening. It was probably a Kundalini awakening. And I had no words. I had no words for this awakening. It was sharp in other ways as strange happenings in the middle of the night, psychic energies, strange feelings of the room being filled with unseen forms, feeling paralyzed, that feeling that many people have, not being able to move, strange sounds whooshing through my ears, through my head, trying to understand what all these phenomena were, having no words. Something was opening up, something was being unlocked, and I didn't have the support or teachers or help beyond books and occasional seminars I'd attend for people to say this is what was happening, but nobody could quite explain what my personal journey was, why I was experiencing such intense phenomena. And I would have what I now know are careers, or is that what it's called? I believe it's what it's called. I don't pretend to know this these languages like an expert. But this involuntary movement where something would be working something out within me and releasing energies within me. These things all progressed over time. I was led to a channeling community. I started to channel, and I was amazed and shocked at how easy it came, how naturally these words flowed, how profound the wisdom and insights were. And it's around this time when I was channeling and deeply frustrated with having these amazing insights and huge leaps of awareness, ability to really see other people's stories, to really begin to see the things that were running us all, to see the insecurities that were playing out, to see the emotional wounds that were interacting with other emotional wounds and calling itself human interaction. Beginning to see the subtleties of how we interact with one another and having these amazing experiences, sometimes very scary. Not being able to understand why, then I'd be plunged right back into depression. Deep, deep depression. Again, for days at a time. And out of each depression, there would be growth. Out of each depression, there'd be new insight. But I would still be acting out through anger. I'd still be acting out through frustration. I'd still be projecting my stuff onto other people, knowing better, knowing so much more. But there would be something that would arise within me that felt incontrollable. I couldn't stop it. And I would ask this energy, why can I not get a handle on this? Why, even when I see it coming, even when I can feel it rising, I seem to be powerless to stop it. What is this about? Why is it constantly sabotaging my efforts to be more loving, more productive, more effective in the world? So I called out to my guide, my guidance, my awareness. I want a way for this to heal. I want a way to release us, to release myself from this never-ending pattern of moving forward, feeling balanced, feeling connection, knowing where I was going, knowing why I was here, knowing what I was doing, and then moving back into unconsciousness, moving back into automatic reaction, moving back into conditioned responses, moving back into debt, moving back into fear-based actions and thinking, moving back into attack, and seeing other people playing out the same dramas, having the same issues, and seeing how frustrating it was. They weren't going through it to the same extent I was, but I saw it playing out over and over again for each level of awareness, each level of commitment to the truth, each level of growing into themselves, not being aware they were being run by their stories and conditionings and programs, and I wanted a way out. And I said, I want you to help me to find a way where we can heal these misperceptions deeply and profoundly, so there's no falling back into them with unconsciousness, where there is a breaking free and a true stepping into awareness of our true nature, who we really, really and truly are. This is important. I want a way not only to help me, but to help others. Not only to help others, but to help others step into their own awareness, their own knowing, their own guidance, their own support system. To free them from needing others, unless they choose consciously then to continue to work with others. And that's how the Awakening Program was born. Through my channeling, downloading, allowing in this information. And through that, the Awakening Program was born. And it was initially a 6-week program, because I wanted something to be quick. I wanted it to work immediately. I wanted us all to just move through life, fix ourselves, and get on with it. That's how naive I was. And it wasn't until I'd taken people through the 6-week program I realized that that level of intensity was way too much for most. Way too much. There was so much being shifted. There was so much deep work being done. There was so much needed to be integrated that even the 3 months that it now is for the program can seem a little short. Because so much growth happens, so much shifts of awareness come, so much releasing is done, so much integration comes. It's deeply profound. And so the program came with its particular structure, which we'll go into now. So let's breathe now. Let's just breathe now. And feel that journey that I had to go through. Feel the journey you had to go through. Let's allow the elements to soothe us as we remember some of the difficult times. Let's allow the elements to love us and tell us how amazing we have done. How much courage it took to be who we are. Allow the elements to celebrate us and our commitment to our truth, to our paths, to awakening to our perfect potential, to fully embodying that potential and living it. Let's feel the celebration that life has for us now. Feel the peace and the beauty of awareness stepping into this space as the elements, as the program, as the call, as you, as me. Awareness seeking itself, loving itself, celebrating itself. So the structure came. Allow this energy to permeate you as I continue to share. And we'll shortly be doing one of our first processes. So relax. So the first session of the program is connecting with your higher self. And it is supported by the first element of profound love, because our higher self is profound love. It is the individuated source. It is source on an individual journey, aware it is source, individuated. It is the awakened one, fully aware of itself. It is us, our true nature. But in our limited selves, we do not know this. In our personality selves, we doubt who we truly are. And so the first session connects us deliberately, consciously, and actively with the profound love that we are, with our highest expression. Call in that energy now. You in your highest expression. And you will feel tangibly presence, expansiveness, peace, serenity. You, as you truly are, as individuated source. And this energy of higher self that you make a conscious and deliberate connection with carries you through the entire program. This is your support. This is your support system. This is your backup. This is here whenever it gets a bit intense. Whenever we're doing deep work, we call this energy in to support. So you feel so loved from the get-go. Profound love, the element of profound love. And profound love as your higher self. This is session 1. And it's a beautiful meditation. And sometimes tears are felt. Sometimes there's a feeling of surprise of the form the higher self takes. But there's always a feeling of expansiveness and connection, relief, and celebration. It's a beautiful session. And session 2 is meeting your inner saboteur. Very powerful session. We have more than one inner saboteur. But because the program wants to help you in a specific area, or one or two areas specifically, you are asked at the beginning of the program to choose the one or two areas where you feel most blocked, most frustrated, most doubtful, most unable to step into your potential. And this is the saboteur we work with, who is most blocking you in these areas. And I'll take a moment now to speak about the workbook, because in the workbook, at the beginning of the workbook, there is a contract you sign with yourself, that you make a commitment to yourself. You make a commitment to the program. You can make a commitment to doing the work. You make a commitment to your truth. And it is that commitment to yourself that fuels you throughout the program. And there are questions before and after each and every session. There's guidance, channels, higher guidance that prepares you for each and every session. And there are very simple but very profound questions that ready you for each and every session, each and every meditation. So you get the most you possibly can. So session 2, you would have begun to look at in your workbook where you feel most sabotaged, where you feel like you keep repeating the same patterns and can't help yourself, where you feel like no matter what you do, you can't rise past certain plateaus, where you feel blocked, where you feel fearful to look. And so in the session itself, we explore these questions beforehand, the answers you've given, and we go into the meditation, and we connect with your saboteur. But one of the first things that you're asked to feel into, which we will do now, is where you're currently feeling most frustrated in your life, using the element of radical forgiveness. And this is a powerful element. And we ask that to imbue your body, mind, personality, self now. Radical forgiveness is being aware that each and every being on the planet acts only from their level of awareness in any given moment. Every single action that is taken from our level of awareness in each and every moment. And so, if we are all acting from where we are, not where we would like to be, not where we should be, not where we are called to be, but from where we are, can we truly, truly be blamed for our actions? Radical forgiveness is a powerful element when we meet our inner saboteur, because sometimes we can feel resentment towards our saboteur. Sometimes we can feel anger towards our inner saboteur. And also our inner saboteur holds our anger and our resentment and our frustration and our hurt for us, on our behalf. And we need to help it release those misperceptions. So now we call in the energies of profound love and radical forgiveness to feel into your body right now. And to highlight to you where your inner saboteur is residing. Just touching that energy gently. Just feeling into it. There's nothing we have to do. We don't have to dialogue with it. We don't have to change it. We don't have to move it. We don't have to push it. We're just going to allow profound love to show you now in your form where your inner saboteur is currently residing, just so you get a sense. And it can be very subtle. You might feel a pulsing anywhere in your body, anywhere in your mind. Or it can be very, very intense and it's unmistakable. One isn't better than the other. But you will get a sense. Even could be pins and needles. You will get a sense where it's residing. And we're going to just simply ask that energy to give you one word, just one word, that's all we want, of what it is blocking in you. Allow the word to come. Don't interpret. Don't add to it. Say thank you. And you've got your word. Know this is an important word for you. And allow the elements to bring you clarity after the call, why this word was given to you. So So in the session we go into deep meditation and we dialogue completely with this part of you. We go through a transformative process. We see the lessons and the gifts, the nurturing, and we get now, at the end of the session, you will have, instead of an inner saboteur, a powerful ally. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what it is to have this supremely powerful energy that have the power to stop you in your tracks? Now, your ally, now on your side. Feel into that as a possibility and a potential. And then in the following session, the next session is discovering the nature of your true life purpose. Now you can see why it's structured in that way. Because without dealing with the support network of your profound love and higher self, getting your inner saboteur on side and healing the deep hurts it's been carrying on your behalf, discovering your true purpose would mean you wouldn't be able to act on the guidance and the insights you receive. So in the discovering your true purpose, what we do is, again, there's a workbook and the higher guidance for that session. There's already primed you for the meditation. And you'll get a true sense of what your essence is, your unique essence, what you have to bring to the table of life, what you were put here to share as a quality that was meant to imbue every single aspect of your life. Your true purpose is what you are here to bring to every single aspect of your life. Not just your work life, not just your career, not your rightful employment, not just that, to everything you do. It's incredibly powerful to know what it is that you bring to every single situation. And to align yourself with the essence of that, to step fully into the essence of that. Session 3 gives you that opportunity to discover what your unique essence is. And of course, it's aligned with what work you are here to do. Specifically also, you will gain much clarity in the meditation, in the process of what it is you're here to do, and the way you can most express joyfully in your work in the world, what it is that wants to live through you as profound love, pure potentiality. You will receive the information you need with the support of your higher self and your newly supportive inner saboteur. And it's a joyful, fun, playful session. It's full of ahas, it's full of insights. And the workbook supports you before and after, because once you write your answers of what you've received during the meditation in the workbook, your clarity rises to much greater levels. Next steps begin to show themselves. You now commune with your higher self and your inner saboteur and see what next steps you can take to begin to live out this purpose, your true purpose in the world. Feel into that as your pure potential unfolding. Session 4 is releasing past attachments to allow new love or more love in. Now that may sound quite vague, but it's very, very important as we step into our pure potential, our perfect potential, awakening to our true nature. We are asked to release deeply embedded wounds and hurts that are keeping us stuck, that stop us from allowing love in. Because life is love. Life is profoundly loving. Awareness as profound love is how you bring the things that most nurture you into the world, into being. So if you are holding on to any idea of yourself as unlovable, any idea of yourself as unworthy, any idea of yourself as not good enough, any idea of yourself as not able to receive the things you want, because you do not either forgive someone else or forgive yourself, then you can see how you'll be blocking your potential, your pure, perfect potential. So session 4 is a very, very, very healing session, where you are taken to the space where love heals itself, and you are introduced to the areas or the beings or the people or the events that are causing you to feel deeply attached to past events that are blocking your progress. And what is amazing about this session is that so many people who have taken it are surprised at who is called into this space, surprised at who meets them there, surprised at the depth of the dialogue, surprised at the deep healing that takes place, surprised that there's so much to be said, so much to be felt, surprised about how much they're holding on to, and surprised by how much they're able to release. It's a very, very powerful session, and it comes at this stage because you now have the support. Your higher self is with you throughout this session. The entire session, your higher self is there. Because it is so intense, it is so deep, it is such beautiful work that you are supported continuously by this energy. And myself, of course. It's very powerful. Imagine releasing deeply embedded stories that have held you hostage, some of which you didn't even know you were holding on to. And it's different from your saboteur. The saboteur is an aspect of yourself that is trying to protect you from something, and so blocks your progress and creates obstacles in certain areas. This is allowing life to show love to you. Love in the form of money, love in the form of success, love in the form of nurturing relationships, love in the form of a beautiful new home, love in the form of health, love in the form of deep spiritual growth. Wherever it is you need love most. Love in the form of good friends, love in the form of closer family connection. Whatever it is you need that you've been withholding, you release those attachments to allow more love in. Love in the form of money and debts cleared, not needing to be saved anymore. Love. It's a powerful session. Feel into the lightness that may come once those attachments are released, and the love that can pour now into you. Potential arising in you. Think of where you most want to thrive, flourish and blossom, and feel the potential arising, the possibility. Session 5. And I forgot to mention that in session 3 we use radical awareness. And radical awareness is being aware of what you're thinking, saying, feeling, doing, and why. So you can understand why that's important when you're discovering your true purpose. And it allows you to really receive the information of what your purpose is and why. And in session 4, we use the element of conscious intention. And conscious intention is deliberately choosing to step into the truth of your wisdom, your heart's wisdom. To consciously intend to know what it is that needs to be released so you can allow more love in. To consciously intend what it is you need to embrace in order to allow more love in. To consciously intend to allow the elements to rise within you to heal your misperceptions and allow you to flourish and thrive in the world. Conscious intention, allowing the heart's wisdom to guide your thoughts and your actions from a heartful space. Session 5 is connecting with your future self, meeting your future self, literally stepping into your perfect potential. Literally. And in session 5, the element here is undefendedness. Undefendedness, like the first element, profound love, we don't have to strive to experience in any way. They are gifts given. The other 3 elements we cultivate, we choose to actively initiate within ourselves. We choose to deepen them and utilize them. But undefendedness and profound love are just simply here. Undefendedness is where we measure how much we have fallen into profound love, how much we have stepped into greater awareness, how little we are triggered or how much we are triggered. It asks us to choose each moment anew. It asks us to meet each moment in the now. It asks us to meet each moment without the confusion and the clutter of old stories clouding our judgment. It's how we measure where we are in our growth, in our awareness. And so it is here in meeting our future self that undefendedness allows us to let go of ideas of what past and future is, what time is, what time, space, dimensions, and how we can move through them, how we can do this, and how, even though it seems to be within the mind, within the realm of imagination, how tangible and practical it is to utilize time and space in this way. Undefendedness allows you to step into that energy, allowing what is now to reveal itself, as showing you now, in the past, the present, and the future, that there is no such thing. So in this session, not only do you journey forward to meet your future self, living the life you wish to live, living in your full potential, expressing your purpose powerfully in the world, your saboteur now your greatest ally, but also you journey back for the first part of the session, first part of the meditation, to be a future self for you, when you were going through a previous difficulty. Let's do a little of that now. Let's step into that energy now so you get a taste of how beautiful it is to meet yourself and be your own healer, your own teacher, your own guide, your own coach, your own supporter, your own nurturer. So have a little taste. Think back now to something in your past, preferably something, actively something that you know you have shifted, that you have come through with flying colours, but at the time you couldn't see how that would happen or could happen. It could be anything. It could be health related, money related, friendship related, love related, home related, work related, children related, anything. Creativity related, where at the time you couldn't see either a way through, a way out, or you had no belief in yourself. But now you absolutely do, and it's no longer an issue. Think of that now, and allow the elements, profound love, radical forgiveness, radical awareness, conscious intention, and undefendedness to reveal the perfect event, where you can truly experience, yes, this I have moved through, this I have conquered. Let them reveal to you now what that is. have your event, yes. You have your happening. Let's journey now back to that time. Just picture yourself standing over the you that was experiencing that event, that happening. And we go into much more depth in the actual program. It's a beautiful meditation, but I just want to give you a taste of flavor. So picture yourself there, standing over this energy of you when you didn't know how you were going to see a way out, a way through, didn't believe in yourself. See the confusion. See the frustration. See the fear. See the doubt of this you from the past. See the loneliness, the angst, whatever the dominant emotion is. See even the arrogance. If you've become softer, gentler now, you were arrogant then. Whatever the dominant emotion is. See it. And without saying or doing a thing, send love to this self. And they will feel it. Send love telepathically from your heart also, from your heart chakra to theirs. Though you are one, in this instance you are two, for the purpose of this process. Send love pouring from your heart to theirs. Telepathically share your love. You are loved, you are whole, you are perfect, you are complete. Telepathically share that you made it through. You made it out the other side. And not only did you make it outside the other side, make it out the other side, you also have learnt so much from that period, that there was a purpose to that you see that now. Telepathically share, it's okay, it worked out. And you will see and feel a lightness in them. They may not know why they feel it. They may or may not be aware of your presence. But they will be feeling more loved. They will have a sense of something subtly calling them forward. And over time, they will see solutions begin to arise, answers coming, next steps revealing themselves, as they are subtly called forward to the future by you. The future where this is all beautifully resolved. You calling them forward from the space you are now, showing them their next steps. Surely you can see the perfection in that. The pure potential. That time is not linear. And all is happening simultaneously. Surely you can see that from your new standpoint as their future self. Feel the peace here. And that's just a little taste, so you can imagine what it's like to actually do the full process. And you can also imagine what it's like now to know that there's a future self calling you forward, right now, wherever you feel most stuck, right now. And in the actual meditation, you actually go in dialogue with that self, with both selves. You have you're taken through what it is they needed to do to resolve the situation. You are shown what needed to be released, what needs to be let go of in order for you to step into that potential, what is potential now, but is their reality. You dialogue with your future self, and you dialogue with your past self. Isn't that beautiful? The healing of that. Knowing that wherever you are now, wherever you're feeling most frustrated in your life, there's a future self living the resolution of this current situation, living the expansive version of this current situation, the resolved version of this current situation that is causing you the most frustration or feeling of you're not living at your highest, greatest potential. That is already living. Session 5. Feel the elements just permeating your being like particles of delight and joy, pinging and popping as your awareness rises and flourishes within that. And the final session is connecting with your true self, meeting your divinity, being your divinity. This is a beautiful culmination of all the sessions. All the elements are at play here. They're all integrated, flowing through you. And you would have had the benefit of all the sessions, all the higher guidance, all the workbook, all the coaching support in between sessions, email coaching support, my actual support through the calls, on the calls, or in person if we do it in person, plus my support in between sessions, plus your higher self, plus your inner saboteur, plus your future self, plus releasing attachments, feeling the elements imbuing you and soothing you, and now stepping into the truth of what it is to be awareness itself. Powerful meditation. Understanding how all of these other aspects integrate into this one magnificent whole. Journeying to this space of pure awareness and discovering what it is you bring to awareness itself. What you bring, not just what you bring to life in this lifetime, what you bring to awareness itself. What is it that without you awareness would not be? You also get to see your life not just from this lifetime, but potentially many lifetimes. What was the purpose of you individuating from source? What was it life was trying to teach itself, live itself as you, through you, over lifetimes, over eons? What was the theme you were here to learn, to understand, to know? What was it you were here to grow into as consciousness, as conscious awareness? The spaciousness you feel in this meditation, in this session, is magnificent. Deeply nurturing, but also deeply, deeply profound. Stepping into greater, greater, greater awareness. And you see now that you're taken on an individual journey of healing to a more expansive place of what it is you have to bring to the world, to an even greater expansiveness of what it is you have to bring to awareness itself, what awareness is expanding itself into, and could not do without your unique flavor. And so by the end of the 6 sessions, spread over 12 weeks, there's a powerful sense of integration. There's a deep healing. There's a lot of release of long-held, deeply embedded hurts. There's a feeling of being lovingly supported, not only by your own internal allies, but also with my profoundly loving intention, my passion for you to step into your truth, your purpose, my own internal allies helping and supporting you. It is my passion and my purpose to live this, to share this, to teach this. It was the answer to a deeply felt prayer, so you can imagine my joy when I support you through the program and see you shift and grow. Isn't that beautiful? And so that's how it works. And I use many tools as are needed to support you. Because my intention is that you do step into that potential. And at the end of the sessions, you also have the alternative option of carrying on 1 session a month for a further 3 months. So all in all, a total of 6 months. It's not needed, but I have found that some people, they're so busy integrating for the first month after the program that they want to check in. They really value that extra 1 hour a month where they can say, this is what I've been doing, this is what I've been experiencing, this is what's going through, this is where I am with the situation, this is where I'm feeling a little bit challenged, and having my support for that. And so I offer that as an extra bonus if you'd like. And it's optional, it's not needed, but it's there if you want it. Because there's a sense of, having all this nurturing support and this email coaching and me nourishing and nurturing you in between sessions, as well as being nourished by yourself. And then I seem to disappear. And so I find people will tend to find true nourishment in my support and my continued coaching support. So it's there as an option. So we've taken you through the program, and I hope you've got a real sense of what it was for and how it can awaken you to your pure potential and the peace that you become imbued with, a sense of rightness in your life. I hope you've got a sense of that now. And if it really calls to you, then I urge you to act. There's a weekly payment option, there's a 2 payment option, and there's an in full payment option. These payments include not only the sessions, not only the workbook, not only the meditations, but also my email coaching support in between sessions, which I have been told is very valuable and very nurturing. But if you truly would struggle to make those payments and you need more flexible payment arrangements, then contact me and let me know that you'd struggle to pay, and we'll see if we can come up with more flexible payment arrangements for you, okay? No one should be turned away if this deeply calls to you. I know what it is to be this deeply frustrated on your path. So I thank you for taking the time to join. As we step into our perfect potential, there will be struggles, there will be challenges, there will be blocks, there will be obstacles. We are being shown here that we not only have what it takes, but it is already done. The overcome has happened. We have moved through. We are supported. We are loved. We are valued. We are guided. We are in our highest potential, living it now. Once you've made your payments, you will receive a confirmation email from me, and that confirmation email will contain a calendar booking form, so you can book your sessions, all 6 sessions. You will receive the first session's higher guidance, and you will receive your first session's workbook. You'll receive each session's workbook prior to the session to prepare you for our time together, and also an introductory email from me. Go ahead, make your payment. If it calls to you, don't hold back. Trust yourself. Trust your knowing. Trust your wisdom. If it speaks to you, it's right. And if it isn't right for you, but you know it's right for somebody else that you can think of, that appears in your mind's eye, and they will appear, then share the link with them and let them receive the help they need. Thank you so much for connecting with me, taking the time to go through this program with me step by step. I hope you truly felt the power of the processes and the healing effects of the elements and the power of profound love in our lives. And I look forward to working with you directly, whether in person or via Skype. And it's been a joy and a blessing. Until the next time we connect. Bye.